Alright, so for this I'm going to update you on some of the newest options in Forger and what they look like. If you've been following along with previous videos and you have a newer version of the app, you may be confused as to what I've been talking about. So as you open Forger, you can start a new sphere, and that gives you just the blank sphere to sculpt on. Whenever you're in the app and you want to do that, go to the top of your screen all the way over on the left where you see 4 squares. Right there, that is where you would begin a new file. So you can just restart with a new sphere. Alright, at the top of your screen there's the squares, and then next to it is an import. You don't need to worry about that. The next one you do need to worry about though, it looks like a disk. It's like this. It's the save button. So as you're going, you can just hit save, but in the beginning, initially you want to hit save as, and I'm just going to save this as sphere, but I don't actually want to do that because there's nothing in it. That's going to save it on your iPad, and as we learned, if you took my class before, we learned with Sculptress that you can save and then come back to it later, or you can export it, so to send it out to another program to be used for 3D printing or virtual reality or games or animation, any of that stuff, you would be exporting. Now exporting is right next to save, and it looks like a square with an arrow coming out of it. That's because you're sending it out of the window that you're in now. So export, you would do that. We'll talk about that in the next video, but not this one. The only other ones you will need up top, the objects menu you don't need. This one that looks like a square cube, we'll be using that today. Symmetry, don't touch anything with that, just leave it enabled and don't change the axes. You don't need layers, you don't need the picture. This one over here, the materials menu, you will need. So if you open the materials menu, this is what the sphere is made out of. So if you hit the blue plus button and go to lit sphere, there's a few different options here. You want to pick the one that looks white and really bright and kind of shiny. So if you tap that, it says toy plastic, and hit apply to selection. Now my sphere is no longer made of that flat gray base color. It now is made out of toy plastic that's very light white and shiny. So that's what we're going to sculpt with today, toy plastic. And then the next button over with these 3 circles is your display settings, and that's how you're going to turn the wireframe on and off. It is possible to turn the grid off, you see, and that could be great for screenshotting so that you don't end up with the grid in the background, but keep that on because otherwise you don't know when you're moving it. Right now I have the grid on so I can see what's going on, but if I turn that off, I got no idea how this is moving in space. Keeping the grid on gives me some reference to that. The next slider over, it's these 3 slider buttons, is the preferences. You don't need to change any of your preferences right now. What you really need to worry about with them is the file I/O, and just making sure auto save scene is on. That way if your app crashes or you close it, it'll save what you had automatically. Lifesaver. All the brushes are still across the top. We've talked about them before. And you still have a size slider that does the same thing. You still have a strength slider which does the same thing. They just look a little different. Your undo and redo buttons are over on the left instead of they used to be across the bottom. There's still a plus minus button that turns that circle green, and it does the opposite. So if you're adding clay and you hit the plus minus button and hold it in, now you're subtracting clay. So that's how all that stuff works. Undo, undo. Okay, moving along. We're going to be making a monster here. So I'm going to start with just a basic standard brush. Just to be clear right off the bat, you are not making a final copy of this today. You are just experimenting. I want you to get into the mood of kind of making imaginative monsters. They can be anything. You can make as many as you want. You only need one in the end though. And don't make yours exactly like mine. That's not the idea here. Watch this video first so you know what to do. and how to use the various tools, but then you should really come up with your own stuff, because copying mine is no fun. Nobody likes doing that. Okay, so I'm going to use the standard brush to add some things. So if you want to add anything like eyes like this, that's how you would do it. Now if you want this to look a little less round here, and you want like a crease there, obviously you would use the crease tool to get that to look better. Okay, but now it looks pretty strange. Like I got some extra creasing that I really don't like, so I'm going to use the smooth tool. I'm going to just smooth some of that out. That's going to fix it, make it look nice, make it pretty. Okay, I like that quite a bit. What if I want to make those eyes a little bit bigger, like bulging out monster eyes? Inflate is a good tool for that. With inflate, you got to be careful. If you overinflate, it's just like inflating a balloon past what it can handle. It's going to split. So you don't want to do that. I'm going to flatten this out a bit and maybe smooth some of that strangeness so it looks better. Okay, I got two great shapes for the eyes bugging out. And then maybe I'll add some other clay about here to do for this. So I got, whoops, that's kind of weird. So some strange stuff. I'm going to undo a couple of steps. Yeah, that's a little better. Alright, if I want to make it go in, I can standard brush, but hold down this plus minus button over on the bottom left, and then it's going inwards, not outwards. So it's doing the opposite of what it was. Alright, now I'm going to maybe use my pull tool, the pull, which is up here, and that's like the grab tool in Sculptress. So if I want to pull a large shape, like if I want to make his body or his head longer, I don't know, would you call it a body? Would you call it a head? I don't really know. Okay, I'm getting some weird stuff here, so I'm going to smooth this out. Okay. So then I'm going to start adding maybe some legs and arms. So if I use standard brush first, it's going to start building them, and then I can use the pull tool to pull them down like this. And then you're going to see with the pull tool, some things can happen. It's not like Sculptress where you can just pull and do whatever you want and everything's okay. With the pull tool in Forger, you can't make it do this. Like if you start getting it folding over itself, like students do this all the time and it drives me nuts because they get their mesh all mangled like this. I know you think that that looks cool, but the 3D programs are not going to be able to read surfaces that do this. So don't do this. This is very bad. If you end up with something like that, you need to undo, and I will show you how to use the pull tool properly so you don't end up with something like that. So if you were pulling this, notice how right now it looks fine, and that's because I was pulling just a little bit at a time. So I grab it just a little bit and pull it, and then move to a different view, and then pull it a little bit again in a different direction, and that's how you mold things going in various directions. You don't do it by grabbing it and holding it in and just pulling it in all different directions. That's not a good way to sculpt. So I did end up with some issues here, and I'm going to show you how to fix that. So if I go to my display settings and just turn on wireframe, see how this is all stretched out? That's not good. Alright, so I see what's going on here, and if I look at the wireframe, I can tell When you start with a basic sphere, it divides it into all these little squares evenly. So that's how you're able to sculpt. That's what the program is doing, is it's looking at where those squares are moving to. But when you start using the pull tool, you're stretching that out and you're not getting any more squares. So it's not like Sculptress where it adds squares where it needs to. It's still using that same little circle of squares, and it's just pulling it way out. That becomes an issue when you start getting too far away from the center. So like this, these lines are very stretched out. There's a way to fix that. I'm going to go into the mesh menu, which looks like a cube at the top of your screen. And I'm going to go down to remesh, and I'm going to tap the word remesh. What that does is it just kind of restarts it all. It recuts it into squares and makes sure that the squares are even everywhere. So now they're not as close together up here, but they are way closer together and more the right shape down here. If I turn wireframe off, you can see what that does to the actual surface. It makes it smoother again. It's not all stretched out and folded looking. So I could even remesh again if I turn this slider up to somewhere around 111 remesh. That's going to give me more squares, and they're also going to be evenly spread around. So that would be much better for sculpting on. This is a really nice tool in Forger, is that your ability to control when that happens. So I'm going to use a standard brush now. Now I'm going to start adding some feet. But as you see, it's not going very well. It's starting to stretch out. There's not enough squares here. So the program is saying, okay, I will inflate that. I will add the clay there, but I don't really have enough squares to work with. So it's wanting you to fix that. So it wants me to fix that problem. I could fix it with smooth, but that's probably going to smooth away my feet. So instead, I'm going to go to my mesh menu and I'm going to remesh it at 111. Anywhere around 111 is fine. It doesn't matter a specific number. So that helped get more squares there, but now I should remesh again. I'm going to crank it up to like 160. You don't do this right off the bat. You always start with low numbers and then do it a little bit at a time. You also don't go to 160 too early in your project. I'm getting close to being done with this monster, so that's why I'm up to 157. Alright, now that I'm there, I can look at it and I see that the mesh looks nice and even throughout. If I turn the wireframe off, I still have some wrinkling, but now I have the ability to smooth this out, and it's actually going to smooth the way that I want it to. It's not going to destroy the shape. So I'm going to use a pull, and I'm going to make some spikes on my monster. Ooh, I ended up with 2 that time. When using the pull tool, just a little bit at a time is much better than trying to pull a big thing all at once. And certainly don't pull and then turn directions and keep pulling. You have to let go and try, do a little bit at a time. So when you think you got it good, get it framed up so that I can see the overall shape, and then screenshot it and submit the screenshot to today's assignment so I can see how it's going for you. I hope you have a lot of fun with this, and I'll see you next time. We'll go over more features of Forger.